Hi everyone, and welcome to the Fake Love and Flying Monkeys podcast. My name's Nova Gibson and I am your host. My area of expertise is in supporting victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse and other toxic relationships. I'm the principal counsellor at Brighter Outlook Narcissistic Abuse Counselling Service, and I'm also the author of Fake Love, Understanding and Healing from Narcissistic Abuse. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about everything from the initial pink cloud you find yourself on at the start through to the horrific discard and the powerful trauma bond that keeps you hooked. So take your imaginary seat on the roller coaster that is narcissistic abuse, and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode of Fake Love and Flying Monkeys. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fake Love and Flying Monkeys. In this episode, we're talking about no contact, but not just no contact in general. We're going to be talking about no contact with the narcissist family, their friends, the people who hang around them, their flying monkeys, their, in inverted commas, loved ones. As we now know, narcissists don't have friends. They have followers. I'm sure those flying monkeys and certain loved ones think that the narcissist is someone who they can trust and is genuine and loyal. But you now know that it is always a transactional relationship with a narcissist. There's always strings attached, and that doesn't matter who you are, whether you're the narcissist's chief flying monkey, in other words, their lieutenant flying monkey, best friend, or you're their sibling, or it's a colleague. Everyone is disposable and everyone is objectified to the narcissist. So you've been discarded by the narcissist in your life. Perhaps it's a toxic parent who has given you the silent treatment because you displease them or you wouldn't allow them to abuse and confuse you anymore. Or it's an intimate partner and they've discarded you because they found their new soulmate, the 10th, 20th soulmate of their lifetime. And here you are in a world of pain, not knowing what you did wrong, and the narcissist is acting like they're the victim and the problem's all with you. With an intimate partner in particular, the narcissist will ramp up the abuse before the discard. Why do they do this? Because they need for you to look really crazy so that they can transition into that new relationship with not too much kind of drama from the outside world. In other words, the people they are smearing you to will see that you're reacting to the ramped up abuse. You're seeking closure around your disposal. You're trying to get some answers, and the narcissist can transition to that new relationship without people thinking they've done something wrong, because it doesn't look so good when you're with the love of your life one day and then you found the next love of your life the next day. Of course, they've been there for a long time. They've been grooming that new target whilst they've been abusing you and ramping up the abuse. Regardless of how or what they did, you're hurt. You are distraught. You don't know what you've done wrong and you want some answers, but you're not going to get them. And you quickly realize that you're surrounded by people that you thought were your friends, people you thought loved you, who are turning on you or who are dropping you on Facebook and Instagram, because they have received that smearing information from the narcissist. The narcissist has spread those rumors, those lies around like a crop duster. They've dispersed it to the world, and people are starting to look at you funny. They're starting to drop off like flies, and this compounds the pain that you're feeling because you feel so alone and so isolated. And because the narcissist probably told you that these people also agreed with the narcissist that there was something wrong with you. So it feeds into supporting the narcissist's agenda all along, which is to have you believe that you were the problem. But there's a few people who haven't completely abandoned you, people that you really thought you could maintain some kind of relationship with. Let's, for example, use the scenario of a partner, and you can apply this scenario or the principles of the scenario really to any narcissistic relationship, a parent or someone else. But the intimate partner, or the abuser, I should say, the narcissist has abandoned you, has abused you, discarded you, or maybe you've managed to escape and you're after some validation from the people in the narcissist circle, and you are reaching out to the people that you loved. It was real for you, like their parents. This is a classic example where the narcissist parent will have some kind of, or you will have some kind of bond with that mother-in-law, that father-in-law. And at the very least, if you can't maintain that relationship, you would expect that, well, maybe we can stay in touch, because after all, I've got your son or your daughter's children. You are their grandparent, and you think that you will be able to maintain these relationships despite the problems that you've had with these people, which are many. When the narcissist makes you feel like you've got to compete with their toxic parent, or perhaps they accuse you of making them choose between their toxic parent and you, because that parent has clearly overstepped the boundaries and been very, very disrespectful to you. Or maybe it's other family members, an aunt and an uncle, just because you have a falling out with this family member, that doesn't mean that you can't still interact with these people and maybe see them at Christmas and times like that. You would expect that they would be a grown-up and would try to be as amicable as possible. But here's the thing. You soon realize that those people, whether it's a mother-in-law or a father-in-law or a toxic aunt or uncle, that person is a connection to your abuser. And you've done your research. You have to trust your instincts. And what I mean by that is that you now know that narcissists manipulate everyone. No one is standing in front of the narcissist where they are not at any given time trying to manipulate you, whether they're crying or they're happy or they're praising you or they're angry at you or they're just confusing you with word salad. They are always in a constant state of manipulation. And what that means is that those people who are in the narcissist's life are going to be there for them. Otherwise, they wouldn't want to maintain any kind of relationship with them unless, of course, it was something they simply had to endure, knowing that they can't trust the narcissist. But they were creating a scene, a scenario where they could get through certain times without too much drama. And to do that, perhaps it's someone at work. That's a really good example of where you have to see them. To do that, they've kind of got to manipulate the manipulator in that they don't give away any intimate stuff. They don't let them know too much. The conversation is very superficial because they know they can't trust this person. But 9 times out of 10, the people who are in your abuser's circle, they are going to be there for them in the end. The narcissist wants you to be alone. They want you to feel like it was all your fault. They want you to feel like you're on the outside. And that's a really lonely place to be when this is your family, especially, and you're watching these people turn away from you, or you're reaching out to them and you can see the relationship is just not the same. And that is because your abuser is manipulating them, and they want to use the relationship that was special for you with those people to hurt you more. They want you to experience such loss, and that comes in the form of you trying to maintain, if you do, some kind of relationship with those people in the narcissist circle, that they will hurt you. They will be an extension of your abuser. And basically, you find out down the track that you cannot trust them, and that whether they know it or not, the narcissist is using them as flying monkeys to be a surveillance system, to be their eyes and ears. Basically, those friends, parents, loved ones, in inverted commas again, of the narcissist will be used so that you continue to think about your abuser, and that so you don't move on and heal and forget about them. They will be used to give you hope, that fill you with that drug called hopium, or to keep that trauma bond as strong as possible by seeing the narcissist at maybe gatherings, as I said, at Christmas or weddings or things like that, all under the guise of maintaining an amicable relationship, because after all, we do have things in common, and they shouldn't be asked to choose simply because you guys split up. And that is the reason that I always tell my clients in my practice to go no contact with anyone and everyone your abuser knows, and that includes their family and mutual friends. If they're friends with the narcissist, with your abuser, then you can't trust them whether they know they're being used or not. It's irrelevant because the outcome is the same, and that is that you can't trust them. And at the stage you will be in after the ongoing abuse, you can only think in the context of healing and getting yourself into an environment where you can heal. And that is never going to be that place where your abusers, parents and friends are contacting you and placing your abuser, whom you're trauma bonded to, right back inside your head. So what does no contact look like for those people? It looks exactly like going no contact with your abuser. And that means dropping them as a friend on social media platforms. Why? Because contact in a relationship with a narcissist, when you're trying to heal, is looking at who they're tagged with, who that person is friends with, what kind of posts they put up. And believe me, the narcissist will be manipulating them into posting so that you are triggered. No contact is no contact with the flying monkeys. And anything that you see or you hear where they pop up on your feed is contact, because it essentially puts the drug back inside your system that you're trying to get out of your system. It puts the narcissist back inside your head, and you know how hard it is to work through and process the ruminating about your abuser. And by the way, on that note, guys, if you would like support with your narcissistic abuse recovery, I am a professional counselor. Please just see my website in the description. But when you have that contact, that is contact, then you are going to go steps backwards, because you have done the equivalent of the cigarette smoker, having done an amazing job in going cold turkey for 6 weeks or whatever it is, and then having a massive craving, and to relieve the anxiety that builds and builds and builds with the craving as it builds, the only thing they can do by the time that it just becomes too overwhelming is to have a cigarette, instead of putting strategies in place to break that craving as early as possible. Going no contact so you can heal means going no contact with the people who surround your abuser, because you have to make this the number one commitment in your life. A heroin addict would not make their withdrawal and their sobriety the number 2, 3, or 4 thing in their life. It has to be the number one thing. And if you are still in that place where most of you beautiful people will be, where you are conditioned to only put other people first, and of course you're worried about what they'll think of you, then please consider this. People who are genuine and who are there for you will understand. So if you truly are concerned about this person's feelings, and you feel like maybe down the track they will see the narcissist for who they are, if you really are concerned, then message them. Say to them, look, you're something like, I'm dropping anyone off my platforms. I'm really not on it that much anyway, but I'm dropping you as a friend. Please don't think that means that I've got any kind of gripe with you. It's just that this is what's best for me. Don't give them any details, because you know that will go straight back to the narcissist. But this is what's best for me, and to avoid any kind of triggers, you don't even have to say that, because remember, a friend or someone who loves you will just go, that's fine. Of course, you don't have to explain to me. Only a toxic person will make you feel bad if you put boundaries in place. So if you truly are worried, then that's a little experiment you can engage in, because genuine people who love you will get it. They won't have a problem. But it's something that is so important to do so that you're not triggered and you can process your trauma and get the narcissist out of your head. Now, the other thing that you have to consider is that people who have listened to you talk about your abuse, who have told you that they empathize and this is terrible and, that maybe you should leave, or, maybe they're not saying that. Maybe they're ignorant to the dynamics of this abuse and they tell you that you should work it out. Whatever they're saying to you, a true friend, someone who genuinely has your best interests at heart, is not going to remain friends with your abuser. They are going to recognize that you've been abused and that it would be a terrible thing to go to your abuser's birthday parties and weddings. When someone says to you, well, I don't think I should have to choose, or that's you thinking that you don't want to make people choose because, that would be unfair, right? It's not their fault that you split up. If you're thinking that way or you're worried that they're thinking that way, then remember this. Friends don't befriend your enemy. They do not sit on middle ground. They're not putting their hand up in the air and going, well, hey, I'm Switzerland and I'm neutral. People who love you don't do that. The bottom line, guys, is that you have to give yourself every chance to heal and say to yourself, not my circus, not my monkeys. If people think that you're supporting their agenda they've been told by your abuser, if that's what they think, then reframe, because what that means is it's actually a good thing to get those people out of your life. And maybe those people will have an epiphany down the track when maybe they're abused by your abuser and they have their own moment when they see this person they thought was genuine. They see them for who they really are. And maybe at that time, they'll come back and they'll say, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I feel dreadful that I believed that. But you know what? I really hope that you'll forgive me and that you'll let me win back your trust, because I was manipulated by this person and I'm so sorry that I believed them. Will you forgive me? Maybe they'll come back, and that would mean that you do have someone who is genuinely there for you, but perhaps at the time they were just too susceptible, too vulnerable. Whatever the reason is for people who side with your abuser, the outcome, the end result is the same, and that is that they are being manipulated by your abuser, and that if they are truly there for you, they would not be in any kind of a relationship with your abuser. People who love you are not going to say to you, well, I don't think I should have to choose, if they genuinely can see and you told them that you're being abused. And if they can't see the abuse because it is most of the time so covert, that doesn't matter, because they're still in the circle, the toxic circle of your abuser. therefore you can't trust them. There is so much loss when you are abused by a narcissist. You lose yourself, you lose relationships that you now know were based on a lie. You lose part of your identity. You lose your hopes, your dreams, your goals for the future. But your circle always gets smaller. And it's irrelevant, again, that you now know this person is toxic, and perhaps these other people in their circle are toxic as well. That is irrelevant when you are experiencing loss, and that loss is real. You have lost relationships that were real for you, and that means that you need support to process that. And of course, you need to grieve, not your abuser or abusers. You need to grieve you. And that brings us to the end of another Fake Love and Flying Monkeys episode. I hope you found that episode insightful, guys. It is really painful sometimes to drop these relationships, particular relationships with children of the narcissist that you had a strong bond with. But once again, those children will be manipulated to make sure that you never move on, and you are always thinking about your abuser. There is so much loss, and you need lots of support around that. On that note, guys, it's bye from me for now. Please don't forget to follow me on my other social media platforms. You can see those in the description and the outro. And also don't forget to get your copy of my best-selling book, Fake Love, Understanding and Healing from Narcissistic Abuse. Please share this episode and other episodes, guys. It's the best thing you can do, as well as to give it a rating and a review. I would love that because it helps it. You have no idea how much that helps with the algorithm, which of course puts it out there so more people see it and more people are helped by it. So until the next episode, guys, remember, you are worthy of love, and you are worthy of a whole lot more than a lifetime of fake love and flying monkeys.